Right, okay, so just going back to where I was before, let's look at a couple of imaginary scenarios to compare our current model with what a resource-based economy might do in the same sort of situation. So imagine two guys come up with an idea for a water desalination device, right? So purifying seawater, turning it into fresh water. They both patent their designs and they go into the market, and they're competing with each other for a share of that market. Now, how are they going to do that? How are they going to capture market share? They're going to look to sell their product for as little money as possible in order to undercut the other guy, right? In order to do that, they are going to have to cut corners in their design and production process. They're going to use inferior materials. They're going to pay their workforce as little as possible to make these things. No doubt each inventor can see merit in the design of the other person, but they can't incorporate any of that design into their own for fear of being sued for patent infringement, right? Imagine another situation. Turn your mind back to the 1980s when the AIDS virus started, right? What happened? All the drug companies set their research laboratories to work, right? Trying to find a treatment or a cure for the disease. And they're all working as hard as they can. One of these companies is going to win that race, right? And they're going to find a cure or a treatment first. And everybody else's work is going to be largely wasted because that's now been patented and nobody else can now enter that marketplace, right? Now, if your goal in the first situation is to produce the best possible water desalination device, if your goal in the second example is to come up with the speediest possible cure for AIDS, then surely the best possible course of action is to collaborate, cooperate with each other, share ideas, right? But in a money-based system where profit is the primary goal, such collaboration becomes impossible. And this is where resource-based economies come into their own, because people are no longer competing with each other to make profit. They are instead sharing ideas to come up with the best possible solution in the shortest possible time to whatever problems face mankind at the time. So what does a resource-based economy look like? Well, it rests on, in my view, other people might disagree with this, for me, it rests on four basic principles. The first of those is the idea of access rather than ownership. We already have this. Libraries are an excellent example. You go into a library, you borrow a book, you read it, when you're done with it, you return it, somebody else can use it. This idea of access rather than ownership could be extended to all sorts of things. Cars is an excellent example. You don't need to own a car. What you need is access to a car, access to a vehicle to get you from A to B when you need to, right? There are about 32 million cars currently registered in the UK. Well, at any given moment, between 80 and 99% of those cars are just parked up, not being used. We could cut by 80% the number of cars on the road overnight with sensible management of the remaining cars. Everybody could have their journeys covered, no problem at all, like an Uber-style kind of arrangement. This could be extended also to tools, musical instruments, many other things. So ownership, access rather than ownership. Money at the moment is simply a means of accessing goods. If you have universal access to everything, you no longer need money. Can you imagine that? No money, debt, profit, competition, all of these things disappear. And along with it, bankers, stockbrokers, advertisers, marketing, most laws, most crimes, most criminals, energy bills, water bills, car payments, mortgage payments, pretty much everything that makes life a drag, all of that would disappear immediately. The second principle is to give technology free rein. Remove the proprietary constraints, remove the selective funding that currently holds us back. Everybody working together, be a constant stream of new ideas, constantly pushing us forward, constantly coming up with better solutions to problems. Third principle is that all practices must be sustainable. There are a finite number of resources on this planet. There are an ever-expanding number of people on this planet. So, as I said at the very beginning, resources need to be put to their best possible use. No fossil fuels, there's no need for it. It hasn't been for 30, 40 years now. No fossil fuels, no toxic dumping. The only reason we continue with these things is because it's cheaper to use fossil fuels than it is to seek out alternative things. It is cheaper to dump toxins into the ocean than it is to treat them and deal with them sensibly. Designing products needs to be done in a way where, you know, with phones, for example, rather than after a year throwing your phone away and getting another phone, design them in such a way that individual components can be changed over, you know, modular design so that individual components can be changed without having to change the whole thing. Those components then get sent to a place where the materials can be recycled and reused, rather than all of these chemicals, all of these precious resources going into landfill as they currently do.